learned 5 rules this week. Alright? I'm only going to show you 2 today, so if you're going to write this down, put it somewhere where you can put 3 more rules. Now, you should have learned last night that anything to the 0 power equals what?
1.
1. Anything to the 0 power is 1.
My name's Jim.
And you can try this in your calculator. Plug in any number you want. Hit the exponent button. And then plug in a 0 and hit the equals button. What happens?
1.
You get 1. Anything to the 0 power is 1. It works. Alright, it's a rule. Alright? It's the easiest and best rule of this week. Now, the other rule you should have learned is anything to a negative exponent. Whenever you have a negative exponent, you have to turn it into a fraction and make the exponent positive. Move it to the denominator and make the exponent positive. We don't want negative exponents. If you pick an answer anytime this week on a quiz or a test for us, and it has a negative exponent, it's wrong automatically. When it says simplify, you need to get rid of the negative exponent. So rule number 2, anything to a negative power move it to the denominator and make the power positive. Alright? That's rule 2. Anything to a negative power, move to the denominator, make the power positive. That's it. Alright? Now, last night on your homework, 1 through 4, asked you to do 2 things. It asked you to simplify and write it as a decimal. You should have 2 answers for 1 through 4 if you read the directions. Alright? Now, I saw a lot of people who didn't have 2 answers for number 1 through 4. That's fine, but understand what it means. Simplify means get rid of the negative. Make it a decimal means actually do the math. Okay? So number 1, check your work, ask questions. Number 1, you should have changed to this. This is what I mean by simplify. Get rid of the negative exponent. 10 to the negative 2 power is 1 over 10 to the 2nd power. Yes?
Well, you said on the video, you just had like 10 to the 2 power. That was the
Yeah, negative 2. It was negative 2, so this is what your answer should have been. And if you change this to a decimal, you should have gotten 0.01. No, it actually put it to the decimal.
Whoa. Instead of doing 1 over 2.
Well, what is 10 squared?
Well, I put 10.
Okay, what's the 100, right? If you have 1 over 100, it's the same thing. Alright? Number 2.
Wait.
Simplified version was 1 over 10 to the 7th power, which is that 0.6 zeros and a 1. Alright? So you should have both those answers. Number 3. Simplified is 1 over 10 to the 6th, which is 0.00001. And number 4. 1 over 10 to the 10th power, which is going to get crazy down. But you should have 9 zeros in front of the 1. Alright? So those are your 2 answers for 1 through 4. Listen, whenever you have a negative exponent, move it to the denominator and make it positive. If it asks you to write the decimal, write the decimal. Alright? If it asks you to evaluate, what's evaluate mean? Do the math, right? Calculate. Now. Alright. Any questions 1 through 4?
Little ways.
5 through 8. That was the problem. 2 to the negative 6 power. What's the rule, Matthew? What are we going to do with 2 to the negative 6?
Trying to get to no negative, but a fraction.
To a fraction and make it positive, right? That's what the rule says. So this would be 1 over 2 to the 6th. Now, sometimes, and I haven't figured this out over the years teaching, sometimes they want, when they say simplify, sometimes they want it like that, and sometimes they'll show the number. What is 2 to the 6th power? Now that you all know how to use your fancy calculators.
Oh, I got it, Coach. Hold on. Let me get it out. Coach, hold on.
64.
Jackson, what's 2 to the 6th power?
64.
64. So sometimes they want you to keep the exponent, and sometimes they want you to evaluate the exponent. So understand that either way you can see it. They could want it with 2 to the 6th power or 64. Number 6 was negative 3 to the negative 4 power. Which is the same thing as 1 over negative 3 to the positive 4th power. Now, this is where you're going to make your mistakes. Who can tell me what negative 3 to the 4th power is?
Times 3 times 3.
81.
Ow. Bring it up.
81.
Positive?
Negative 81.
Okay, so I got positive, I have negative. Let me ask you a question, Jackson.
What?
Shut your mouth.
Ooh.
How many negative 3s do I have, Emma?
1.
4.
Right there, right?
Remember? Negative 3 times negative 3 times negative 3, negative 3. So that means how many negatives do I have?
4.
4.
So if I have 4 negatives, my answer's got to be what? Positive.
Positive.
See, this is it. Now your calculator's going to lie to you because you didn't use parentheses, did you?
Why are they lying?
Are you?
Shut your mouths. I'm trying to help people. Watch your negatives. Base numbers. Whenever your base number is negative, you have to look at your exponent. Whenever it's an even exponent, your answer is going to be positive. Whenever it's an odd exponent, your answer is going to be negative. So this actually becomes 1 over positive 81. Your calculator's lying to you because what it's doing is it's taking 3 to the 4th power and then tacking on negative. You have to use parentheses for it to work correctly. All right? Number 7 look like this. 3 to the negative 3 power. What are you going to get? You 3 over there? I'm about to go to break attention, so just keep up your little playing around. I mean, it doesn't make any sense. This is not easy. It's confusing, especially when we add the other 3 rules.
No, I got it.
What's 3 to the negative 3? What do I got to do first? What's the simplified form? Getting rid of the negative. Turn it into a fraction. 1 over 3 to the positive 3. And then what's 3 to the 3rd power?
47.
27. Then number 8, you have negative 2 to the negative 5th power. Be careful because we have a negative base power, base number. Now, what's the simplified version of this? Eli? Griffin?
1 over 2 with negative 5 power.
Now we're getting rid of the negative, so if we move it, it becomes positive. So it's actually negative 2 to the 5th power. We're moving it to make a positive exponent. Now, what's negative 2 to the 5th power?
Negative 32.
Negative 32. All right, because I have 5 negatives. So that ends up being 1 over negative 32. Am I right? Thank you. Understand?
So the power always has to be positive?
Yes. That's what this rule's there for. No negative exponents. Got to make it positive. So you do that, you move it. All right? Any question with the 2 rules? Sit down. Bumpers.
I really don't get the number. Number 5, right?
5 through 8. If you have a negative exponent, that's bad. You gotta make it positive. To do that, you just move it to the denominator. That's it. Move it to the denominator. Make it positive. And then you can do the math. Up here you got 2. What's 2 times 2?
4.
Times 2. Times 2. 16. Times 2. 32. Times 2 would be 6 power, which is 64. So that's where the 64 is coming from. We're actually doing the math. Did you practice on your calculator? Do you know where the exponent button is? Yeah, you should be practicing with it. Negative 3 to the 4th power. Once I get rid of the negative by moving it, now I can evaluate it. Negative 3 to the 4th power is 81. 3 to the 3rd power is 27. Okay? We're just doing the math.
Hey, you have the little power thing. Power.
I do. We're going to get into scientific notation in a little bit. No, next year. Not a little bit.
Okay.
All right, now for the actual math part of the lesson. This is where the rules come in. We actually have to use the order of operations with the exponent rules. Now, before you can use order of operations, you got to simplify your exponents. You have to make it easier. Can I simplify 4? No, it's a constant. Same thing, right? Same thing with 3. Can't do anything with it. But what's 4 minus 9?
5.
Good.
Thank you.
And what's 5 to the negative 3 power? Well, I can't have a negative exponent, so what am I going to do with the 5?
You have to put in a fraction.
I got to put it in a fraction. And what's 5 to the 3rd power? 125. All right? 5 to the 3rd goes to the denominator. 5 times 5 times 5 is 125.
So it's the same thing as
Now, what else can I simplify up there? What, you got a question?
So it's the same thing as the other thing.
Now we're just doing math stuff. What else can I simplify? Griffin,
Negative 5 to the 0 power.
what is negative 5 to the 0 power?
1.
1. Best rule in the world. And what's 3 times 1?
3.
3. So this simplifies down to 4 plus 3 plus 1, 1 whatever that is. And that's going to be 7 and 125. Using the rules with order of operations. Alright? One step at a time. Simplify before you add, subtract, multiply, and divide. Alright? Number 10. Seven minus 8 times 2 raised to the negative 3 power plus 13. What do I have to do first? Emma. Gotta get rid of the negative exponent. So I'm going to change that to what? Fraction. 1 over 2 to the 3rd power. What is 2 to the 3rd power?
Oh, I don't think that. 8.
8. Good. So this changes to 8. Now, who remembers how to multiply numbers times fractions? How do I do that?
You put
Put a 1 under the
number.
Okay, so 8 times, you could do that.
What you gotta do?
8 times 1 is?
1.
8.
8. 8 divided by 8?
1.
How are you getting these numbers that you come fractions?
2 to the 3rd power is 8.
So where'd you get the
What
1?
is 2 times 2 times 2?
Where'd you get the 1?
Yeah.
What's 8 times 1? 8 divided by 8? Now, what's 7 minus 1 plus 13?
19.
Simplify and then do the math. Alright, simplify and do the math. Again, you're going to have to do this Friday. If you didn't do it right on your homework, I suggest you write it down so you can see, you can study something. That's what this is for. I'm not trying to waste time in here so we can go to the next period. Number 11. You got 2 plus 2 raised to the negative 2 power, and 1 plus 1 raised to the negative 4 power. Now, do we do exponents first or parentheses first?
Parentheses.
Good. Don't forget your order of operations. Pendas, right? What's 2 plus 2?
4. 8.
What's 1 plus 1?
2.
Now, I got two numbers with negative exponents. I got to make them into fractions, and I got to evaluate them. So this is going to be 1 over 4 squared plus 1 over 2 to the 4th power. What's 4 squared? Don't say 8. 16.
Yeah.
There's 4.
What's 2 to the 4th power? And don't say 8.
8.
It is 16.
Yeah.
He said 8.
I got 2 of them. I'm on a roll.
So you should have ended up with 1 over 8. 1/16 plus 1/16 is 2/16. 2/16 reduced down to 1 over 8. Last but not least, 12.
This one's easy. This one's my phone. Oh, yeah.
You got 2 minus 2 to the negative 3rd power. Well, again, 1/3 or negative 3rd power, I got to make positive. To do that, I'm going to turn it into a fraction. I end up with 2 minus
1 over 2.
1 over 2 to the 3rd power. Now, what's 2 to the 3rd power?
6.
2 times 2 times 2 is 8.
You got it.
And that's going to be 1 and 7 over 8. Did I get all the extra credit bumps?
Yeah.
Any questions on the homework? Alright, here's your current grade without the extra credit. The extra credit will move your grade up 2 or 3 points if you did it.
Is that like our grade?
This is your current grade minus the extra credit.
We just started out.
Ooh, I ain't that
You didn't do your quiz.
It won't let you know. Oh, man.
Take home quiz.
Sorry. Which one was the take home? Or check on
You were kidding.
If you make it, you get green.
Why did you go?
If he makes it, he doesn't get it. All the way we go. Yeah, I'm gonna get it.
Like,
Oh, man, that's mine.
Again, the extra credit will move you up a couple points. You gotta beat that.
Alright, I got 91. Really don't care. I don't
Alright, well,
How you doing?
yeah, well, you need another one? Jarvis, you need some? Right there. See there. Jarvis. Okay, get out. Alright, So today we're going to practice the zero and the negative power rule. All right. Again, anything in the zero power is 1. Just get rid of it and put a 1. I don't care if it looks like this. This is actually, we're doing these exponent rules in algebra 2, and this is one of their test questions. What's the answer to that?
No.
What's the answer? If I say simplify, what would the answer be?
1.
1.
Yay.
Anything. I don't care how big, bad, ugly. Anything to the zero power is 1.
Is that
This,
become a problem?
yes, simplifies to 1. We're not solving. We're not solving anything. We're simplifying. Know the difference. All right? We're simplifying. To solve something, you need an equal sign. Okay? We're just simplifying what we can simplify. All right? And again, anything to the negative power, you got to make it into a fraction and evaluate out the exponent.
I got you, Coach.
Good. Let's see if you can do it.
Do something about it. We'll wait. I've always turned up on I have a good problem.
Work those two problems. What? DJ, what problem?
Coach, I used to. 1, 2, 3, 4. Who do we go for? Toro. Love you guys. Sunlight. We don't know.
I don't like it. I told you that.
Bird, what's wrong?
That's how I was trying to help her. Tuesday.
One. What's next? That's a take-home quiz.
Oh, we have to take home quiz?
Yeah.
I did.
You guys need to be doing this for real. No, that is not mine, because it's sorry.